We're the Grumpy Dungeon Masters. I'm Jay, joined with my co-hosts Christopher, Kristian, and Dan. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hello there.
Ass.
That was my attempt at being Chris. Yeah, just very low energy.
I'm not low energy.
No, right now you're actually not. You have a topic you want to talk about that's going to take the entire podcast.
My topics don't take the entire podcast. Just 85% of it.
All right. Well,
All
let me
right.
know when to log back on.
Yep. Well, no. Oh no, you have to be here to argue with him. All right. Well, let's get our social media pitch out of the way first. Where can they find us at?
Well, you can find the Grumpy Dungeon Masters on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. You can also find the podcast on YouTube, and you can find various members of the Grumpy Dungeon Masters streaming on Twitch TV. Find different video games on Tuesday and Thursday nights, and on Saturday nights you can watch Grumpy Dungeon Master Christopher stream his 5e D&D game Waterdeep World-Born Dead.
Awesome. All right, Chris. So before you dive in for 45 minutes, I actually I want to talk to Dan real quick. So Dan, explain to us how lightning works so well against black oozes, black puddings, and tell us, just give them the story.
So on our monthly or so Greyhawk game we've been playing for about 5 years now. Playing in 5e, we're not playing in 5e 2024. But we, in the midst of investigating something completely different than what we managed to find ourselves in, long story short, ended up in the Vault of the Drow series of modules, which if you're familiar with AD&D First Ed, that's like 7 fucking modules. But we basically went about it in the reverse by going and investigating a city that the Drow had taken over and were busy stealing everything from and enslaving everybody at. Closing the gate, but only being able to close the gate by closing the gate from the Demon Web pit side, and then being stuck in the Demon Web pit because you can't plane shift out of there without Lolth's approval. So we had to like crawl across the fucking spider webbing until we found a portal, and the portal led to like the main Dark Elf city in Greyhawk, which I cannot pronounce the name of. It's like Irhalai Alu or something like that. I don't know. And when I say that we're going about this in the reverse of it, that was the end of the Vault of the Drow series of modules, apparently, because we end up in the Temple of Lolth and then kind of climb our way up. First off, destroying a daughter of Lolth down in the basement and finding an egg, which more on that later. I know this is a complete tangent of what you wanted me to talk about, but I have to have a lead up to it.
I said tell the story, so go for it.
But managed to fight our way up through a series of more and more powerful drow guards and mages and priests until we finally get up to the top floor where we find like the drow matriarch of the high priestess of Lolth. But since we'd already killed all of her followers, she was, we're 14th level characters. I mean, she got power moved before she managed to get much off because she got counterspelled, then she got mage slayered, and then she got knocked to the ground and the shit beaten out of her. And because we are a bunch of 14th level characters that have a ridiculous list of Greyhawk first edition style magic items and things that we can do, we were like, okay, well, she's like the high priestess. They're going to resurrect her. We just, slaughtered Lolth's daughter and a bunch of people in the temple. We got to take her body with us or she doesn't get resurrected. And they're like, oh no, they can resurrect her even if they have like, a little bit of her. We got to do something else. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Trap the Soul.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really a thing in 5th edition, but there's a similar spell in 5th edition in Xanatar's. I forgot the name of it. Somebody can look it up.
Like magic jar or some shit like that.
It's not quite magic jar because magic jar is a little bit different. But essentially, you trap somebody's soul in a gem, and in 5th edition, it's like a high level spell, but it only lasts for like 8 hours. But you can basically trap them in a gem, and you can ask them questions. They have to answer you truthfully, and you can gain other benefits from it. But we basically explained to our DM what we wanted done, and we had a wish from the Castle Greyhawk module. Like, so one of the characters still had like effectively. We went into a room of effectively a deck of many things. It was called the Room of Many Things, actually, and she had stepped on something that basically gave her a D4 wishes, whereas I stepped on something that had my soul ripped from my body. So
equal trade.
An equal trade. So we decided, okay, let's try this. Let's wish this, basically this spell that we know is a thing, but maybe make it last for a lot longer. And of course, the druid that's casting the spell ends up with a 3 strength and taking shitloads of necrotic damage anytime she casts a spell, because it's a wish spell that's not just replicating a normal ass spell. But we managed to trap this drought priestess in a gem. And they were like, okay, now what? So we try to like escape, and I'm not familiar at all with like the lore of Greyhawk's version of the Drow. I'm familiar with the Forgotten Realms version, but just picture walking out of like the High Priestess's Temple of Lolth in Menzoberranzan, in like the upper class district where all the houses have their noble houses and shit, and you're like, fuck, we gotta escape. Luckily, we have a high-level wizard. The high-level wizard puts a mass illusion on us to make us look like drow, and we start sneaking our way out and just looking like normal-ass drow, blah, 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 kind of get through. Nobody's noticed anything yet. We get through the gates from the noble quarter, and suddenly an alarm goes up, and people start locking down the gates, and they clearly notice something's up. And we're like, fuck, we gotta get out of here. And we start, trying to play it cool and try to get to the gates, but they've like doubled and tripled the guard at the gates, and there's wizards galore, drow. I mean, they have all kinds of shit, and of course they've got all kinds of other like friendly allies and enslaved creatures that can do things like see the invisible and see through illusions. So we go buy some Arcana Lost, and our Arcana Lost just kind of follow us with their gaze the entire time, and then wander off and alert other guards. And we're like, oh god damn it, no. And we're like, okay, so the walls are 40 feet tall. Not all of us can have abilities to dimension door or fly. We already know we can't teleport out of the Underdark because Lolth won't permit it. How the fuck are we getting out of here? And the druid's like, it's going to hurt real bad, but I can cast Windwalk. And that's what we did to get out. As people are trying to chase us down. But we're then just stuck in the middle of the Underdark, and again, can't teleport out. And we don't have enough magic ass left to just plane shift out to somewhere else. So we just start running. Managed to get around and find ourselves in a place called the Temple of Ooze, which Kristian, since we just did that in the Shadowrun game, I was a little disappointed, honestly. The Temple of Ooze was really more just a kind of a fountain of ooze, and we sneak in there and kind of like we're actually trying to find a back door to the layer of the abyss that Jublex is on, because Jublex is holding Iuse's soul stone. I know, high level problems, and we're trying to find a back door to get in there without having to travel the entirety of the abyss, because nobody wants to travel this 222nd layer of the abyss. So we're like, hey, it's an ooze place. Maybe let's try this place to see if there's some sort of portal or something we can do to, like, I don't know, trade for the soul stone, because nobody likes Iuse. So maybe we do this. So we go there, and it kind of disappointed by the fact that there's just kind of a fountain there. And I'm like, okay, there's really nothing here. I'm the rogue. I'm trying to like sneak ahead and try to see what I see. And I have like a plus 16 to perception or something. I notice out of the corner of my eye what kind of looks like something glistening, like glass maybe, on the other passageway out of the room. I'm like, okay, Steve, as a rogue of my level, have I ever encountered a gelatinous cube? He's like, you have not, and have no idea what one is. I'm like, but I know something's weird up there, right? Yeah, it looks kind of like a sheet of glass. I'm like, okay. I'm backing up and throwing a rock. I throw a rock, and of course it ends up in 2 gelatinous cubes that kind of, and of course, since I threw a rock, the entire place comes alive with oozes. So 2 gelatinous cubes immediately start attacking. A yellow ochre drops from the ceiling on the party. Two black puddings come up out of the grate, and like the entire pool like forms into some sort of other gelatinous slime with pseudopods that starts lashing out at people. And we're playing with a bunch of veteran players who know exactly what all these things are, but are trying to trying to play it off like we do not. And we're playing with a relatively new player that does not know what any of these things are, except for the gelatinous cube, because she's seen Honor Among Thieves. So she's playing the druidess, and she's like, okay, I'm going to throw, I think, what is it, thunderclap? I think the thing that blasts things away from you and does thunder damage. Thunderwave. She does that, and it works pretty well. And our buddy Rob, who's playing the fighter, that happens to have a staff of thunder and lightning, he's like, oh, that works. Cool, I'll use that. He starts two-handing the staff. And Rob, just smirking the entire time, knowing exactly how black puddings work, smacks the first black pudding, and it splits. And then he smacks the next one, and it splits. And suddenly we don't have 2 black puddings attacking us, we have 4. And everyone learned a very important lesson that day about how black puddings work, except for Rob's character, who's like, I thought the thunder worked really well along with the lightning, because he's a very dumb fighter. And we're like, no, man, you made more of them. It's like, but they were smaller.
It worked great.
Logic.
Yep.
But I will say that had we been much lower level, it would have been a whole lot more of a problem, because all the oozes basically destroy your armor and normal weapons. And I'm kind of disappointed because it's 5e. You only have one reaction around. The black puddings can only split once around.
Yeah.
Because, like, in earlier editions, you just keep on hitting it with your slashing weapon because everyone uses a longsword. You end up with, like, six black puddings.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's pretty much where we ended. I think we managed to finally fumble around and get to a point where we were able to rest and plane shift out to our Arborea, then back home afterwards, but kind of ended after that. But
yeah. I had shown up. We're doing me and Dan were doing a trade. I'd come over to Atlanta for the day, and had shown up during literally I showed up right as Rob was getting ready to hit this thing with fucking lightning, and I'm just in the kitchen just laughing to myself about it.
It was a great time.
Yeah, because I knew Rob. I knew for sure he knew what was going to happen. But
one second. So that's not my understanding on how black puddings work. So yeah, if they get hit with lightning, they split in 2.
Mm-hmm.
But that becomes 2 new black puddings in their own initiative, so they have their own reaction still. So if you hit those black puddings with more lightning, they split again, and it creates 2 more, and then creates 2 more.
Yeah, he hit 2 different black puddings.
Yeah, but the reactions are still there.
Right, but he didn't hit the new ones. Like, he hit one. There was 2 originally. He hit the first original one, and then hit the second original one to create the 4, which is...
No. It splits into... The original one doesn't exist anymore. The original one's gone.
Right, but there were 2. He hit one, and then he hit the other one. He didn't hit the 2 that split from the original one. He hit the other black pudding.
So there were 2, and then there were 4.
Yes.
Right. So if then you hit those 4 in the same turn...
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, they keep splitting up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And getting smaller every time and weaker every time. So.
Yeah, it's a good idea to split them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes them smaller.
Yeah, we're kind of joking about it because it's 5e and it's just so much easier. The earlier editions, you didn't want to fucking split them. That was a terrible plan. You just made more of them. And they didn't really get weaker. So
they're not weaker. They have
they're smaller.
Anyway, that's where we ended.
So anyway, moving on. All right, Chris, go ahead.
Oh, you're having a Kennedy this week.
What? What happened to Kennedy this week?
Yeah, what happened to Kennedy this week?
So I brought my daughter to Adventures League because I was out running chores and stuff.
Bring your daughter to D&D Day.
Yeah, so she actually helped me DM the session and whatnot. The new Kennedy showed up, and he almost got killed by a mimic, but he survived. So we're still working on that. He's gonna die. Don't worry about it.
Oh, we believe in you.
But yeah, they fought a Minotaur, a mimic, a bunch more bugbears. But they're third level now, so they're trucking along pretty well. So I don't think they're going to be dying that often. The Kennedy almost leveled up, so I bought some blind box minis, and one of the blind box minis was like a bed, like a thatch bed. And I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I flip it over; it's a mimic. So
Yeah, I was about to
I was
say,
like,
that better
"All
be a
right."
mimic or some
So
new monster.
I put it on the map, and that was the thatch bed of the Minotaur. So he was sleeping on a mimic. No, but eventually it's going great. And no complaints.
Does that make him a mimic tar?
No, it was an actual Minotaur. I had to give it legendary actions, or else I would have got fucking just chump changed by everybody. But yeah. So getting on to the topic that I wanted to discuss, it's about the new books that came out. Before I start jumping into any of my thoughts and feedbacks on anything, I just want to point this out. On page 12 of the Forgotten Realms Adventures in Faerun book, on, again, page 12, under the Adventures subsection, the one, two,
Is he going
three.
legalese on us here?
Yeah, this is coming later. The fourth paragraph down, it says, each adventure includes a starting situation, a hook to get the players involved, and a key encounters, including monsters from the monster manual or this book. Most of the adventures include a map, but some direct you to maps found in Appendix B of the Dungeon Master's Guide. That's all I wanted to read out before I start this little talk about everything. So, I picked up these new books, and I actually got a chance, since, I'm working, shrug, to actually sit down and give these things kind of like a pretty in-depth read through. And I have to say that I'm very happy with these books. If I was a new DM, I would be very happy to get these books. In fact, I'm very happy to get these books as an experienced DM. Even given my love of the Faerun, a lot of what is in this book is what I've wanted from other books in the past. Specifically jumping out at me is it has the most complete map of Toriel that I have ever found anywhere. And I have looked. So in the Heroes of the Faerun book, the players version of the book, there's a massive map that shows all the Sword Coast, all the stuff in the Tactless Sea. It shows all the stuff in the Beyond, the Old Empires, the Arcane Empires, Forgotten Realms. Just it shows everything that I've been asking for. It shows where fucking Cholt is. You know how hard it is to find a map with Cholt on it? And I've gone back.
My map in my box set from second edition.
As easily as Googling it?
I've gone back to third, and had to go back to second to find a map that had Cholt on it. But then the map that has Cholt on it kind of like stops just past the Anarok Desert. This one covers like everything. I think it's, like I said, I honestly believe that this is the most complete map of Toril that I've ever seen anywhere. And the best part is that it then goes in section by section and gives you a detailed map breakdown of all those individual sections, as well as the current standing of that area of the world in Faerun at the time of this book. I don't know what the DR of this book is yet. I haven't found it. Kristian, did you happen to find what is it?
I did find it. It is 1501 Dale Reckoning.
1501. Okay. Where was that?
So there is right in the section, it's near the beginning of the so-called Player's Guide, where they go over time in the realms. And there is a section called Keeping Time from Day to Day, and then a realms timeline. And at the bottom, it says present, 1501 Dale Reckoning. The current year is the year of the Shining Mythal.
Okay. So, from best I can figure, okay, this this book, the state of this book, takes place after the Adventures in 5th edition, but before Baldur's Gate 3 happened. And that's my best recollection of what's going on.
I would agree with that.
So essentially, like the rhyme is over. Manshun lost, and Xanathar lost the. I'm sorry, I think Xanathar was successful in getting the Dragon Key. I can't remember, but I know like Manshun was unsuccessful. The rhyme is over. Karlak is in Baldur's Gate. Gortash is mentioned in the book as being, his hand of, was it Baal? Yeah.
Chosen of Bane.
Chosen of Bane. Yeah, whatever it was. He was dumb anyways. Damn artificers. And I enjoyed this book quite a lot. I had to sit down and actually do a very thorough reading of it. But it does a very good job of kind of like getting you caught up with what the current timeline of the world is as WotC sees it. And I think that's very important when you're going into a new edition. So because of that, I kind of love the book. And I went through and I've seen a lot of videos on the spells. The spells are all fairly good additions to the spells. I don't really have any that kind of stood out to me to talk about. There's a couple fun ones, but they all do what spells do.
Something about the spells, actually.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
I was actually very happy with the spells, in that there's a lot of callbacks to 2nd edition in these. I was very happy to see a lot of the named, spells from specific wizards. I think that's always a great addition to make you kind of immerse you in the world, when this isn't just, a thing that shoots fire, but it's somebody's thing. You have not just the Mooncloak spell, it's Illustrial's Mooncloak, it's Elminster's, Effulgent Spheres, so that slight name change, but the same spell. I really enjoyed seeing that, so I'm actually really happy with the spells that they have, and I think they're, these were a great selection of some new stuff and bringing some classic Forgotten Realms spells into the present age.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that, because that was the one thing that I liked a lot as well too. Lustral Silverhand is actually playing a big part of Waterdeep Worldborn Dead, and she is currently, to the character's knowledge, in comatose, because she had to basically access the Spellfire for way too long, way too much. And she's going to be recovered by the time they get back to Waterdeep and they actually get a chance to talk with her. And she's going to give the players that new spell essentially for free, for basically helping her out and doing the stuff they need to do. So I was able to use that as part of the story. So I really did enjoy that as well. I love it when they name after the mages and whatnot. I wish they had like more evil spells too, like Zastam's Finger of Fuck You. That'd be great to have.
Yeah, I wish they had even in 3.5 in the Magic of Faerun book, there's a selection from a wizard called Nybor, who's a red wizard, and he's an evil enchanter, which are really the most evil kinds of wizards if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a selection of spells called like Nybor's Gentle Reminder, Nybor's like Wrathful Castigation, but they're all spells that like are various forms of like charm and dominate, but that also inflict massive trauma and pain. They're great evil spells.
Yeah, we need more of those.
Yeah, perfect things for a game master to have.
Sure.
There's a bunch of new monsters as well too, and one of the things that they added in was a couple named villains as well too, like the girl that's on the cover of the DM book. Got her name right here, Valindra Shadowmantle. And then it has like basically her history, her personality. Even has like a little side box that says, "Hey, she's found in these sources. She's found in the Fallbacks Bound for Ruin novel, Tomb of Annihilation adventure, and you can learn more about her in the Pirate King book, one of the Legend of Drizzt series." And so they have her big stat block. She's a big CR21 undead wizard / lich thing. They had a really cool new monster that Brits is fighting for some reason, called a Zlan. Don't want to ruin too much about it because, in case, a player listens to this and they come across this thing, but that's a really fucking cool monster. Up in the horrors of Icewind Dale. So, like, if you're running Icewind Dale, definitely think about throwing the Zlan in there for a little bit. I don't know. It's like the Thing and the Predator had a baby. Yeah,
Nice.
it's great.
Can
Dan?
I interject something real quick?
Yeah.
So while you've been talking, I've been looking at canon dates for various things. So Kristian's right, 1501 for Adventures in Forgotten Realms. As far as Baldur's Gate 3 goes, the canon dates are 1492.
Yeah, I know that's the date that they had for it when it came out, but just because of how the game is canon / not canon, like I said, this is just what I think it is. That's what it feels like. Because Karlach is still, doesn't, she has her heart and she's out of the hells. She's in the street, but she doesn't have like any of the Mind Flayer corruptions. Gortash is still alive. The other Dead Three are still alive. They may change some of that with the DLC books that are coming out.
And that might be something that they're including in there in case people, want to do the thing where they play through the video game as characters, which I can respect that. Actually, having the NPCs there, like from your PC party, but also the NPC stats there for if you want to literally play through Baldur's Gate 3. That's a thing people have done before. But the other thing was Honor Among Thieves, which you said was only kind of a footnote. It was literally just mentioned, hey, if you want other media, Honor Among Thieves is a movie. So Realms Year for that is sometime in the late 1490s DR.
That's what a lot of.
But based upon where they begin in the Frozen North in that particular prison, I would say that Frost Maiden's been defeated by that point. So that makes sense because Rem Frost Maiden's 1491, 1489, something like that. But kind of just placing everything in there. But and the other thing was I don't know if you saw both me and and Kristian and I guess Jay all posted. You said this is the most complete map you've ever seen of Forgotten Realms. Maybe yes, for sure in 5th edition, for sure 4th edition, but 3rd edition absolutely had a complete map, and there's some beautifully done interactive maps that with all current events and everything that has everything you just showed there. But it is a nice map, and it is nice that they actually finally put a full map of the realms in.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was trying to drive through at this point. Is like all the other ones that I found were almost like fan put togethers, like they've pieced it together from other sources or brought things in. Like I have the interactive map linked, it's always a good one to use. But that's
the one for Waterdeep is fantastic if you're running Adventures in Waterdeep.
Yeah. So back to the monsters real quick. They have Manchun added into this book.
Beautiful. That's good.
I mean, there's like 12 clones of him still, so sure.
Oh yeah. There's tons of
chump version of Manchun, but
it is that's what I wanted to bring up. It is a chump version of Manchun. Like I've seen Manchun in the Waterdeep Dragon Heist book. I think he's the same CR, but he's got like all these spell protections on him and all these like. If he dies, the spell triggers and he gets teleported back to the Zentarum headquarters and shit like that. This Manchun doesn't have any of that shit. And
that was always
it's a shitty clone.
Yeah, that was always a trademark of Manchun, was his different weird contingencies and stuff, because he was so paranoid that he always had all these, like, just in case this happens, I have this.
Yeah. And so, like, even looking at the picture of this Manchun, he looks like Cobra Commander, and he doesn't have his gauntlet. Like I don't know terribly much about Manchun, but everything that I know about him is he has this massive magical gauntlet, and like,
God, I'm looking at his stats. This
Yeah,
is
they're pitiful.
pathetic. I mean, it's also just the dumbing down of spellcasters in 5e 2024.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm looking at the stats for the one Waterdeep Dragon Heist one. Yeah, he's got Power Word, Kill, Imprisonment, Mind Blank, Feeble Mind, Finger of Death, Simulacrum. I don't know why you'd ever memorize that. Globe Vulnerability, Flesh to Stone, Big B's Hand, Scrying, Wall of Force. He's got everything you need to be a badass caster, plus all of his other extra stuff. Robe of the Archmagi, Staff of Power, etc., and so on. And the Metal Fist. Yeah, the other one, like the Forgotten Realms stats, he's got an intelligence 23, still CR 13, but his AC's 15 instead of 19 because he doesn't have his robes, I guess. And yeah, they do the whole lame ass. Oh, here's your multi attack arcane burst, plus 11, 3 attacks around 40, 12 plus 6.
Trying to
And
actually find
the only spells he has DC 19 are Detect Magic, Detect Thoughts at Will, Light, Lightning Bolt, Level 4 version, Mage Armor, included in the AC of 15, Woo, and Mage Hand and Prestidigitation. Twice per day, Scrying and Sending, and Wall of Force, so yay, just sending messages and looking at people. And once per day each, Befuddlement, Clone, which is hilarious once per day, Finger of Death, Mind Blank, of course, he cast it for combat, and Simulacrum. And he has bonus actions for Misty Step, and he can pretty much always cast a counter spell or shield. But that's it. That's fucking it. His only attack spell is fucking Lightning Bolt. Really?
Well, they really want you using
Arcane Burst.
Yeah, he's an Arcane Burst somebody. I mean, sure, yeah, he could do 12d12 plus 18 points of damage to a single person, just blast somebody out of their boots once around. Yay, a single target.
With an AC of 15, even with a shield spell, a fighter is going to get
by
up
a
on
level
him.
5 fighter.
Yeah, a fighter's going to get up on him and action surge, and he's going to be dead.
Yeah, it's 4 attacks, a level 5 fighter with a great sword, and his ass is grass.
Yeah, especially since, on top of that, and this is an issue that I've been having, not an issue with Adventures League, but an issue with the players, the player characters, like their damage is ramped up a lot. So like I have one player that is playing a fighter, and he has a great sword, and he's level 2, okay? And because he has great weapon mastery, all his 1s and 2s are 3s. So at minimum, he's swinging 3 or 6 damage on his sword, plus all his strength and everything. So that's a lot of damage for level 2. And then if he misses, he still gets to graze you because of the great sword weapon property, and that still does at least 4 damage. And having
I think he does more consistent damage though, but I don't think he does like the kind of damage that 2014 version of a great weapon master fighter would do, because you're doing a ton of extra. You're doing plus 10 damage each hit you actually make.
Yeah, you're doing plus 10 damage extra, but you're also going with that -5 to attack.
Yeah, but as a barbarian who's always fucking raging. Who cares?
But barbarians have a whole different set of things where now while they're raging, they're doing extra damage on top of it as well too. So it's like they squish down some skills, but kind of like it's like they popped a zit and it went everywhere else. And so it's still there, And like it just I feel like I have to increase the hit points of these monsters.
Well, you are running a table of like 8 to 12 people, man.
Yes, but what I'm doing is I have 12 people. Okay, that's 3 groups of 4 players. So I put in 3 groups of monsters for the 4 players. Okay, so
essentially, but that action economy does not translate, and you know that because the monsters don't have reactions and bonus actions.
Some of them do.
Not many, not enough. You're not putting in 12 monsters that have 12 bonus actions and 12 reactions.
And that's fair. Like I said, the Minotaur legendary, I give him. And I gave him lightning. My cat ran. And I gave him legendary actions, and he put up a decent fight. But there were 3 players that were like, "I'm just going to guard the back entrance," and they kind of like
even get involved in it.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, Kennedy was one of them. He was like banging on the doors, like, "Hello, can someone let me in again?" Not to delay too much further, but like they added nimble rights as well too. They added the Faerun, the weird monster that was from second edition that they just offhandedly mentioned in Icewind Dale, but didn't give stats to it. They added that finally.
They only
but yeah,
added stats for like chump ones, not like because in
well they
originally,
have the hatchling and the agent,
yeah,
the CR
both of those,
quarter and the CR8.
yeah, and like 3.5, like the traditional Faerun was, I don't know, it was like 21 CR
What
something. These
monster?
were the Faerun. These were the things that were the enemies of the archmages of Netheril. They were a threat to the wizards of Netheril.
Oh, those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
supposedly that's one of the books coming out soon. Like one of the DLCs
right.
is all about that.
Yeah, it's a
God,
DLC.
God, I just want
Yeah.
to punch somebody that you just fucking said DLC.
Well, we'll get to that. The
God
nimble
damn
rights,
Just
the
finish the
nimble,
book.
the nimble rights seem to be a big contention because they pretty much added automaton robots all over Faerun in these two books. I really didn't care. They're already there. They're
Nimble
not
rights are not new.
warforged. Yeah, they're. I didn't get the hate for them.
Yeah, they're not new.
I know they're not new, but they're very prominent in these two books. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, there's Nimble Rise. Oh, there's Warforged everywhere." Like, no, they're not fucking Warforged. They're
there were Nimble rights way back
in Waterdeep Dragon Heist. There's a goddamn Nimble Right you got to chase down and punch in the face.
but those were there in 3.5 and even in 2E.
I know.
So
Yeah, they're outsiders. They're planner.
no, they're
Pharaoh.
conscripts.
The
constructs.
the Farum are.
The Faramar, yeah, the Faramar weird.
Yeah, they're alien.
Yeah, aliens.
Yeah.
So the feats we've talked about the feats. Street Justice brings it all home.
Yeah.
There's new subclasses. We're not going to cover them. College of Moon, Knowledge Domain, Banneret, which is honestly the Warlord fighter from 4th edition. Oath of the Noble Genies, Winterwalker Ranger, Sign of the Three Rogues, Spellfire Sorcerer, Blade Singer. A lot of like, this is my class, but now I can do X classes thing as well, or
they collectively offer all the abilities that are available in 2024 D&D, which is giving temporary hit points, teleporting, and casting spells. That's all the abilities you can potentially use in D&D, and these classes offer more of that.
Yep.
Yay!
What is odd is that on the front cover of the book, you have Karlach the Barbarian, Minx the Ranger, the Blackstaff, and Jaraxel, and then you don't have anything related to like their subclasses in here, because the Blackstaff is not a Blade Singer. There's no Barbarian subclass. Minx Ranger is not in here at all. It's this Icewind Dale version, and Jaraxel's definitely not a Scion of the Dead 3. So I don't get it. I'm hoping that the quote unquote DLC has something for Karlach as a subclass.
There it is again. He said it.
And so to kind of get onto that, if the missing classes, the monk, the druid, the barbarian, and there's one more.
A barbarian?
Warlock. If those are just in the DLCs that they're coming out with, I'm going to be fucking mad. Because I have a major complaint about this book. And the major complaint is that this is one book that they split in two so they could charge for more money.
Yeah, we bitched about this when we found out about it months ago.
What is it exactly? 144 pages or something like that?
So, I mean, altogether, the DM's version is 288, and the player version is 192. So that's a lot. It's almost 500 pages. For one book, that's quite a lot. It'd be like $85. Now, I paid like $85 pre-ordering these both, but I would rather see the DLC and the player options in a single book and put all that Faerun shit into its own DM book. Because
you know what I'd really like to see? Box sets to come back.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that would be amazing.
Because you know what I would much rather have than 2 books that are 288 pages or whatever the hell long. I'd like to see a box. I don't want any hardbounds. I want a couple of booklets that are relevant to the various areas of the campaign setting. I want a whole bunch of handouts of cities and towns and names and random charts and stuff like that. Stuff that's easy for me to grab because I don't want to have to fucking bookmark an entire book that
Yeah.
weighs 5 pounds.
And so, and so honestly, that's what that starter set was. Like, I
Yeah, that's
really
what I
hope,
liked about that.
yeah, they really need to go in that direction with Dark Sun
Campaign.
when it
Yeah,
comes out.
so I looked at
You said it.
oh gosh, but to stay focused on this, I opened up one of the things I have kept for, and this is, I bought it when it came out, my gray boxed Forgotten Realms campaign
Mhm.
setting for second edition that I still have. And it is full of cool stuff. It's got a
Yeah.
whole book that is just adventure stuff. It's got a book that is just your lore of the realms, that is just knowledge about the different places in the realm. It's got a whole booklet on Shadowdale, which is kind of your starting adventure site and what's going on in Shadowdale and important people. All kinds of handouts in there.
You have
They
all the hole punched monsters that are specific to Forgotten Realms.
Yep, a bunch of Forgotten Realms monsters that are in there. You get handouts for symbols for each of the deities. You get one of the things that has always been part of the Forgotten Realms, at least until 5th edition, is wizards all have individual mage runes.
The sigils.
So yeah,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
like when a place is marked with a sigil, you know who that wizard is, and there's even a whole thing about how Mr. curses people that imitate other people's mages runes. So like if it's a mage rune, that is that wizard, because you know that if you try to imitate one, you get fucked over by the goddess of magic.
There used to be a first level spell called Wizard Mark that would effectively just make your symbol permanent on a location.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff in that, like things you could hand out to the players, quotes from different like people from the Forgotten Realms about different about different personalities. So if you were wondering like, hey, what do I uncover about Elminster? Like you can give people a handout. It was like, oh, this is what Volo says about Elminster.
Yeah. And I
So-
get that. I can, I run a modern table. Even when I'm doing stuff in person, I have my laptop with me, and I can very quickly look up, hey, what's the holy symbol of Helm look like? And I can flip my laptop around and show it to people. I get that I can do that, but it was just nice having a physical thing and be like, here's your handout. Like, yeah, that was just nice. And
Yeah.
that you're right, Chris. That is something that's really good about the new box set of Keep on the Borderlands. That's nice, and I think they missed the mark and they missed the opportunity here to do that with this.
Yeah.
Two giant ass books with also some quote unquote DLC coming along.
Yeah. And so the like I said, overall, I really like these as lore books. The player editions seem average to okay. Nothing crazy. I like the Genie Warlock or the Genie Paladin a lot. I like the
Genie
banner.
Paladin is cool.
Yeah, I like the banner it a lot. Even though I think a bonus action give advantage to everyone for a minute is kind of OP. Whatever.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You heard.
But it does the stuff that I want a warlord to do. Hey, you hit him harder. Okay, we're done here. Like, so. The other part of the Adventures in Faerun is the adventures part, and when I first started kind of reading these, I was like, why in the hell are they calling these adventures? And essentially, what it is they provide 51 different kind of like starter encounters for you to kind of like grab a location or a deity or a setting or a group, let's say like the Zentarum, and go, hey, here is like an average encounter with those guys. So like there's one here for the deity Ashar called the Weeping Goddess. It's a level 2 encounter. There's one up here that's a level 10 encounter called Sickle and Suffering that is for the deity of Lolth. Tides of Teeth, level 3 encounter for Baldur's Gate. Temple of Transmutation, a level 7 encounter for the Dale Lands.
Except
So these
it says adventure.
Except it says adventure. And I don't know why it says adventure, because the adventure is a 1 through 3 thing that they have later on in the book that I didn't read at all because it's a level.
These are not adventures.
Yeah, these are encounters.
But
I don't know why they
some
call
of them actually are supposed to be adventures, because you can tell some of them take, like, one of them is like you are traveling for a full 10-day.
That's still an encounter. What I
You
consider
have different I'll go
these
over
are
the ones I want to bitch about.
right.
Okay, before we continue bitching about it, I do have to interject here again about what you just described for the Night Banneret. I think you misread that. You're talking about if he uses his team tactics, i.e. group recovery. So if he takes a second wind, he regains his HP. Then he chooses a number of allies within 30 feet, equal to his charisma modifier. Which, again, you're a fighter. Unless you got really good stats, like, you're not a paladin. So
It's
maybe
one or
maybe
two.
two.
Yeah.
Each of those allies, he regains hit points equal to D4 plus your fighter level. That's cool. Once you use this ability, you can't use it again for a short or long rest. But at level 7, when you use group recovery, each chosen ally has advantage on D20 tests until the start of your next turn. Not for a minute. That is much more balanced. And also, it's based on your charisma modifier.
Not
whatever.
really, because it's D20 tests. So D20 tests it's been a real big issue that I've had in Adventures League, because D20 test is anything that rolls a D20. Yeah. So that is death saving throws, saves, any kind of attack. And it lasts until the next turn. I was wrong about the minute. I misremembered. But that's still a long time. That's a lot of actions going on. That's a lot of saves people are making. That's a lot of advantage for a short rest ability. Long rest ability?
It's a single short rest ability, though, at level 7 when you get it. I mean,
yeah, so that's once per fight.
You only get one second wind until like much higher level.
Yeah, but at level 7 you have a whole bunch.
Yeah, fighters, that was 2024 fighters get more second wins than 2014. It's like a class resource. It's like part of inspiration.
Certain levels, you get as much second wind. Here we go.
There's still the issue that you mentioned of charisma modifier there. And most fighters have at best a +1.
Yeah, no, I can see what Chris was talking about, though. That's still, even in the case of a round, like, that is potentially a lot of D20 dice rolls that you were just handing out advantage for free, not to mention all the other ways you can get advantage. Like, this is just,
so that even with multiple second wins in 2024, you still only get to use group recovery once per short rest.
Yeah.
It is a lot, but I will say that, if you're using it tactically, you're using it smart. You're gonna say, hey, Ranger who's with a bow and the Barbarian who's my ally who's nearby, both of you guys just fucking open up on this one dude. And that's cool. That's for a once per short rest thing.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're the dude that's allowing like the fucking warlock sorcerer to have unlimited spells and short resting every fucking 5 minutes, then they shouldn't have to worry about that. I'd never the games I run, I don't think, maybe they take a short rest once a session, maybe. So, I don't think it's that powerful, but I think it is actually very thematic.
It is very thematic, and that's why I do love it. Like I said, that is the warlord class.
It's like some heroic fighter, he's like reloading his arm like fucking Henry Cavill does in Mission Impossible.
I love it.
Fighting, and then everybody else like, oh fuck, he's still in it. Let's do it, and we all start attacking. And you get 6 seconds to everybody just unloading, and that's great. That's cool.
Yeah. No, I do love it, but it seems a little strong.
Disagree. Go on. I'm sorry for interrupting.
So these little one-page adventures, quote unquote, I'm going to call them encounters from now on. These encounters, they're just basically for you to kind of go minimal prep, pick up. Here's your map. Here's basic monsters, nothing complicated. Run them through here, and it gives you a starting point. And a lot of times I feel in general, newer DMs have a problem finding a place to start. And I think that these little encounters are a great place to start. Granted, some of them are level 10 and shit, and that kind of defeats the point. But there's enough of these where they can kind of go, oh, I want to have something for the Harpers. Well, here's a level 4 one for the Harpers. And we can start there. Or at very least, it gives you an idea where you can actually read these and understand what's going on. Again, I don't consider these encounters. These are, adventures. They're definitely encounters. These are the things that I would run at D&D encounters when I was playing 4th edition. Like, all right, guys, you're in this keep. People keep attacking you. Blah blah blah. Go from there. And
I will say that you're familiar with the concept of single page adventure, right? Or single, but it was a no card dungeon design.
Yes.
Yeah, that's essentially what this is, except they spread it out so you have a nice, Wizards of the Coast, Mike Schley map for each of these little encounters / adventures. But if you're a good enough DM, you're right. You could totally use any one of these things as a starting point, or insert here to basically make a full session out of this. You're right. There's not much here. It's not complicated. It's not a full adventure like a 32-page first edition adventure. This is like this is a one-night dungeon.
Yeah, even less. I could do most of these in an hour or two.
Depends on how fast your group is, or if you're playing online or in person,
or if you have 12 people.
So, like I said, overall, I like these. I think they're cool. They're probably not for me, but one thing that I've always been very attuned to, given my 2 decades as a technical writer, is making sure a book hits the audience that you need it to be. And I can say from the get-go that most DMs that I know that are experienced, these books are not going to be for them. These encounters, this adventure, this 1 through 3 adventure, this knowledge of Faerun is going to be in Wikipedia in like a month. It's not for you.
It's already there.
It's already there. Yeah.
So
you may not need these books, and that's great. But I'm going to say any newer DM who's just getting out in the world and playing the game for the first time, who these books are fucking made for, these are essential books for them to pick up and read. I'm loving going back through the 2nd edition books that you gave me, Dan. I love reading the Player's Guide that Ed Greenwood wrote, which is actually a short story, or I guess a novella of a party going through, moving throughout Faerun. But that book would never sell today. No one would buy it.
I'd buy
especially
it.
We would buy it. But
if
it
they just let Ed Greenwood do his thing, I'll bet you people would frickin' buy it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because they would see, and they did. If they did interviews and Ed Greenwood said, "Yeah, they let me do whatever I wanted," people would buy that. People that have abandoned D&D
the OSR crowd, of which
I'd go back and buy it for sure.
Portion of people. Would buy
it. But would that work for a newer, younger DM? No.
Maybe. It depends. It depends on where they're coming from, Waples. DMs all come from different places. They all come from different backgrounds. They come from all sorts of different things. There's no one size fits all. And I will say that I feel like they've dumbed down a lot of D&D, but it is a lot easier to get into it now because it is less arcane, I guess would be the word. And you don't need to know a guy who knows a guy who can explain how the fuck THACO works.
Yeah. and one of the notes that I actually have about this is, I don't think this book is made for a lot of the people that I know. Would I love an expert level Dungeons and Dragons book? Fuck yeah. I would kill for that. It probably won't make them a lot of money, but I would be so happy.
Maybe they'll be DLC, Waples.
Yeah, probably in the DLC. So before we jump into the specific things that you didn't like, Kristian, there was that video that Jay made us.
Question Beast.
I don't care who he is.
Okay. I would like to have him on this podcast, so you should care at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great.
Well, I watched the video, and these books are not for him.
No, they're not. And he said they're not.
And the slightest amount of books is like, this man wants something far beyond what these books offer. But you can't shit on the writers who are hired doing their job to do this stuff and write for the lower end of DMs and call them out and call their shit because they're doing their job. And I really didn't fucking like that.
I think you misunderstand.
I didn't misunderstand anything
that
man said.
He wasn't calling any single person out. His complaint about the entirety of the books, and mind you, there was a lot of stuff in those books that he did say he liked, but his complaints were very specifically about encounter design being poorly done, of which I agree with a lot of what he said on that.
So let's go into his encounter design. The Curse on the Humble Hill. He only went over two. He only went over the Curse on the Humble Hill and the Robber Baron. All right. So the Curse on the Humble Hill involves you going out and finding whatever's happening to the crops on Humble Hill. All right. So how the encounter's written, one page as always. Actually, it's just half a page to be honest, because the map takes up half of it. They have you go out and talk to some halfling alchemist, and basically says, "Hey, this is the hook. We got this fertilizer. It was bad. So go find the guy we got the fertilizer from." Okay, cool. So you go through and you run one of 4 encounters, and at the end of each of those encounters, you roll a d4. You roll a d4. You run one of those encounters. At the end of the encounter, you roll an intelligence check, investigation, to see if you find the clue that points to Gaunt. And he's like, "What happens if you complete all 4? Did the thing fail?" No, they auto-succeed, motherfucker. They just auto-succeed. They did all 4 of them. Like, that's a stupid fucking complaint.
But
it doesn't tell you that. It does not tell you that you auto-succeed. It just says you have to make a successful check to find a clue.
Yes, but if you're going to sit here
and if these are for new DMs, not experienced DMs like us, if this is for new DMs, there's nothing to guide them that they should just let the PCs succeed. It's literally to succeed. You have to succeed on the check in order to get the clue.
Then run another encounter and keep doing it until it works.
I think you're much better off not even needing to make some stupid ass intelligence check at the end. Just have them run the encounters and locate the clues.
Alternatively, have them run all 4 encounters and have a clue in each one and put the clues together to figure out where he is.
There's 1,000 ways to write this better, sure.
Right. That's literally his complaint.
No, his complaint is fucking nonsensical, because any moron with basic critical thinking skills could solve this little problem of the omitted sentence. And then he complains about the map and how it's poorly drawn and there's only one ooze there, and that the guy runs away or whatnot. And I disagree. Like, there's too much of a map here for basically 1 or 2 encounters. There should be more, but it's a starter. The DM is where you keep talking about DMs basically flexing their intelligence muscles and adding more things that they want to do. So just start doing that.
But you said this is for inexperienced GMs that are the lower tier of GMs, which means they don't know how to do
Yes,
any of
that. I can have it both ways.
I mean, if you want this to be a starter for the current crop of D&D players, the way that they are pandering to them, then it needs to have everything on there.
Then go to run the 1 through 3 adventure first. So the next adventure is the Robber Baron. I don't even remember what it's about. The only thing that I took away from this is that he complained that there was no map, and that it required you to purchase the Dungeon Master's Guide to find the map. And then he said, and I quote, "This book doesn't tell you that you have to buy the Dungeon Master's Guide to run this book." And what was the thing that I read at the very start of this?
You
Yeah,
need
I
to
remember.
have the player's handbook and the Dungeon Master's Guide.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right.
So-
Yeah. I do. This is one I want to talk about because this is one where I disagree because this is one of the adventures / encounters that I actually really like and I think is well done.
All right, I haven't read it. So you talk.
So I want to talk about why. As opposed to the top adventure, the first one, which I think was not well done. This one I do think is actually a good adventure. And the reason why is, apart from the hook, I hate that the hook for all of the adventures in this are the equivalent, as if you've ever LARPed, it's the equivalent of a plot member walking up to your cabin, knocking on your door and saying, "Hey guys, want to go on a module?"
I mean, I wish it would fucking happen, but yeah.
That is every hook here. That is every hook in every single one of these. It's just some guy shows up to your adventures wherever you are and says, "I need adventurers."
Hell yeah.
I'm
But
all for it.
apart from that, this is a great adventure. This is an adventure where your PCs are hired because a guy has been kidnapped and by some bandits that are ransoming him, and they want you to go and deal with the bandits. When you get into this, the maps and the Dungeon Master's Guide, and that they do tell you need that, but it is kind of annoying to also especially something that's supposed to be a short adventure for you to not have the map in the same book, because now to run the adventure you have to have the monster manual open, you have to have this book open, and you have to have the Dungeon Master's Guide open.
Or you basically do what I do and spend 15 minutes drawing it out on your dry erase mat before the session starts, and then you close the map book and put it away forever.
I
Sure.
don't map that way. I would probably have the book open.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
There's different ways, but if you're a guy that does a books, like, I agree, I would do that too, Chris, but it's a minor complaint because I do like this adventure. So when you go in there, they can give you an idea of where they think he was going, where the bandit stronghold is. So your PCs get to go find the stronghold. They're not immediately accosted by anyone. They can go find the location. They can scout around, and if they scout around, they can also find an alternative entrance into there. Either way, whether you go through the alternative entrance, whether you go through the front door where the bandits are hanging out, it makes it pretty clear that these bandits are not really looking for a fight. They are looking to get money and extort people that are passing by, but they're not really looking to fight anyone. They're trying to avoid fights at all cost. If you sneak in and you find the captive, like through the sneaky way, he tells you, "Hey, they've actually treated me really well and told me they're not going to kill me even if nobody ransoms me. They just want money." If you find the main guys that are leading this bandit thing, they try to recruit your PCs because they don't really want to be bandits. They used to be on a noble. They used to be nobles, and they got kicked out of it. And they tell you they're trying to get money because they want to hire mercenaries to go back and fight these nobles in Baldur's Gate that hired them. And it links to an adventure in the Baldur's Gate section with this other noble family. So you have a thing where you can just go through here and murder hober your way through the bandits and save the guy if you so choose. But you can also just sneak around, run into the people. You can talk to the people. You can potentially solve it through just talking to them, because you can convince them to just let the hostage go, that they don't have any money, and just leave them be. You can potentially tell them that, look, you don't have to stop banditing, but you can't bandit here.
See, that sounds like actual good design.
Yeah, I like that.
Or you could hire on with them and be like, "Oh wait, you're looking for more heroes? Hey, we'll hire. Look, you can stop handing here. We'll go help you solve this other problem." And it can lead into more things. It's another hook into more of the world. It's a hook to more adventure, and potentially if they regain their position, you can get well rewarded, and now you have allies out in the world that are of noble station. There's a lot of cool stuff to be involved here, and none of this adventure requires combat, which is something almost inexistent, non-existent in the rest of these encounters. So I really like this one because it sets up future adventure. It gives you multiple ways to solve your problems, and there's not anything that's gated behind skill checks or combat checks. It's all investigate, figure out what approach you want to take, and then go do it. I think this one's really well done.
So it sounds to me like, because I don't think there was a definitive list of who wrote what, but since there's so many of these, mini adventures, they probably like farmed it out to third party, consultants, contractors, and in house. But I will say that in defense of the guy that reviewed it, the previous adventure that you have to rely on a DC 15 intelligence check and some random fucking encounters in order to find the information is pretty weak design, and it should have been caught by an editor, somebody who's a veteran who's overseeing it. But I will say that considering their most veteran creators recently left after the core books went out, I'm not sure they had enough people able to review this entire thing before it went out the door.
Just let
Especially
the
with
AI,
how big it is.
let the AI review it. It'll catch any problems.
Yeah,
That's true.
there is this is a lot of these adventures. They seem like they're almost templates because you have more than one of them. That is, there's a hostage that needs to be rescued. You have several adventures of there's a problem in the village and it's right over there.
Yep.
And you have a few of that are hey, go get this thing, that are fetch quests. Go get this thing and bring it back to me.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple that I wanted to find the ones that I've really, really got annoyed by.
It sounds like since there's so many of them, you could just pick and choose, bookmark the ones that you think you want to insert into your adventure at some point, and then move along. It's like when the sample adventures that used to come in the DMG. I'm not even sure if they were in the 2024 version of it, but there were always a bunch of sample adventures or starter sort of information for things that could come into it, become a plot line of some sort. But you don't have to run any of them. You don't have to run all.
No, you
of
don't have to run any of the adventures, but if this is for beginning GMs, and if this is meant to teach you how to run stuff, my problem is that it's not teaching you very well. Like, it's giving you bad examples, and that I feel is a problem.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't know that I agree with Chris that this is for new GMs. I think this is simply a book that both veteran and new people have been asking for some time, because there was not enough in the shitty book that they released at the very beginning of 2014, D&D 2014. They basically tried to backfill all the stuff that people had been asking for, and this is kind of, it's not really for anyone in particular. It's for fucking everyone, which is kind of just the MO of WotC these days.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a couple of the ones. I'm just going to highlight a couple of ones. There's another couple that I really had problems with that weren't just like mediocre, but are actively bad. And there's another one that I actually really liked and I thought was a really good design. So one of the actively bad ones here is, am I on the right one? Let me find it. Sure.
Hopefully you're on the right one.
Yeah. Disinterred Danger. This is a faction mission for Harpers, where you run into a Wood Elf scout that is injured, and he runs into you and he's exhausted, and he says, the Zentarum, like, we hit a bunch of cursed magic items that are dangerous in this tomb here, and the Zentarum are about to get in and get them. You got to go help me. And that's your hook. You're supposed to go help them, because if you don't, the Zentarum are going to get their hands on these dangerous cursed magic items. Well, you show up at the entryway, and there's signs of explosion, and the Zentarum are all dead. And that's the last you'll see of the Zentarum. They're already dead. But you got to go in anyways. And also, when you get there, a Wraith just shows up and attacks you. Yeah,
hell yes.
Because there's a...
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Who's this Wraith and why are they there? Let's write a whole story about them.
Yeah, you don't need a story. A Wraith, whatever, but it's weird that the guy warns you and that you're supposed to hurry. The sense of urgency is that the Zentarum are going to get there before you do, and they're going to take the stuff. But when you get there, they're all dead already.
Surprise!
Like, At that part, you could have just been like, okay, you don't have to worry about anything. They're already dead. We can just go back to the guy and be like, nah, they're dead. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you Harpers can go deal with whatever bullshit
But-
race there.
But presumably,
Yeah.
your
Rafe's not
adventurers,
there
for
to
whatever
steal the magic
reason,
items.
Yeah,
go
you don't give
into
a fuck.
the tomb anyways to find these things the Harpers hid. And this whole thing is the Harpers have set clues all around to warn about the traps, but they're not really clues because you can't figure them out. They're just a skill check you have to make to know to know what it is. So you make a
the
skill check,
checks.
and if you make the skill check, the DM tells you the answer. But it's not like an answer you would figure out. It's just the DM tells you what to do, which I hate and is bad design. If you want to
No,
make
when
a
I
puzzle
make an
dungeon,
investigate check and I want the DM to describe to me something that I only noticed because my character took 5 minutes to look something over very carefully. I don't want him to explain to me how it works or how to solve the fucking problem.
yeah. So like, here's the clue it gives you. So you go into the first room, and the clue is along Salune's path they did walk, leaving no stone unturned. Now, if it was just a regular thing, you might think, okay, we got to follow a path, we got to look under the stones. You try to figure it out like a human being would. But no, what this is if you make the intelligence check, the DM tells you, oh, don't worry, this is a line from a famous Harper ballad, and you just have to play a song, and it will shine moonlight on the things you're looking for.
I'd much rather like PCs who make a religion check and figure out who Salune is if they're not familiar with her, and then like the druid be like, "Oh, I'm going to cast Moonbeam to illuminate the way we got to go."
Or maybe there's a path with light that they could follow.
Yeah. See, all those would be better solutions, but no, there's no way to figure out. You have to know that it's the song Moonlight Paean. Like,
right.
Okay, no, considering that's a song they just invented for this adventure, there's no way a player is going to figure that out. And the dangerous magic items that they're hiding here that they want you to uncover so that the Zentarum don't get their hands on them are a shield of missile attraction.
Okay.
A shield that literally makes it easier to shoot you with arrows.
It's very dangerous for this wielder.
Yeah.
And a sword of vengeance.
Jesus
Oh
Christ.
man, I love Sword of Vengeance. I used one of those for fucking 12 levels.
Which all it is if you attack somebody with it, you cannot stop attacking them until one of you is dead.
Yep. It was great for my barbarian.
Dangerous. Yeah. The next one is you go into the next room, and there's a statue of a dragon, and there's a carving on a wall just past it that shows a musician playing musical notes with his lute. It's a Harper clue. But you have to know that the tune is called Coggin's Reel, which is not written anywhere. Like, to me, like, they could have easily solved that of just saying, hey, there's music notes with a scale, and anyone could have figured out, oh, I wonder if I just play the notes that are written on the wall. Like, that would have been great.
Much better way of doing it for sure.
Yeah. And then you get to the third room, which is all there is in this 3-room dungeon or 3-room tomb, where there's a coffin. And the coffin has a clue written on it to shine a light on the future. That's the clue. It's not something you can naturally figure out.
That's it? To shine a light on the future.
Yes. Which, if it was just supposed to be a clue, it'd be great to let the PCs figure out to do something with it. But it really just supposed to mean you're supposed to tell the PCs if they make the check that they have to say the phrase, study the past.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, this is... But yeah, you just got to make some intelligence check to know that the next part of the phrase is that. That's just such terrible design.
Yeah, and that is hiding demon armor, and because there needs to be more combat. It animates as a cambion and then it fights you.
Oh. What level are they supposed to be? What level modules is this?
This is a level 4 adventure.
Okay. Huh. Yeah. I still want to know why the Wraith is there.
I don't care. Yeah.
What's he doing? Really... What's his name?
Yeah. I don't love this one. It's just very... That's bad because it's not the right kind of puzzle dungeon, right? Like, the puzzles are not human figure outable. They're just pass an intelligence check. If you pass a check, you get good things. If you fail the check, you get a consequence because you rolled bad on the dice, not because your character did something wrong.
Yep. All right. What's the next one?
This one's called Dragon Orb. This is a
Oh man,
faction quest.
is it like a wizard orb?
It is an orb of Slore. This is a faction quest for the Cult of the Dragon. So, and this is bad because you're hired in bad faith. This is a betrayal. You're hired by somebody that tells you, "Hey, there's a red dragon, and he's got this orb that I want, and if you bring it back to me, I'll give you a bunch of money." So you're hired to go in and get an orb per dragon. This dragon is 6 days travel away from wherever you start. You have to travel 6 days, and there's an encounter each day. So each day it gives you the encounter. Day one, and this one reminds me of there's a old Knights of the Dinner Table comic where Bob, one of you guys that's usually a player, is now running adventures, and what he's doing to run the adventure is just flipping through the pages of the monster manual and like in order running.
All right, it's an Aarakocra.
Yeah. So this is
All right,
just
an Aboleth shows up.
Yeah. So it's just you have to travel 135 miles and it takes you 6 days. And it says each day use this encounter. The first day is just 5 flaming skeletons riding nightmares burst from the fields and charge you.
That's what happens normally when I walk around.
Yeah, I mean that could be an awesome encounter, but I'm gonna want more. Maybe describe the graveyard that you're passing by or something.
We don't need histories for these guys coming out of the graveyard.
Yep.
I don't need to know the name. Who are they? I don't give a shit who these guys are. I don't care that the one horse was named Butterscotch when it was alive and now it's a nightmare. I don't care.
Okay. Day 2, 3 trolls attack you.
I don't care that they're named the Burly Hurley brothers and you got Burly Hurley and brothers. And that they were all dipped in a magic pond and they can't be killed unless they're 5 feet from each other. I'm sorry again, guys.
Pipe down. Day 3, 2 Youngry dragons attack you.
Oh, okay. Just
Day
random
4,
dragon attacks. Okay.
Who are they? What are their names?
A Grick Ancient and 6 Gricks drop from trees on top of you and attack you.
Hell yeah.
Day 5, Yuan-Ti Abomination and a bunch of Yuan-Ti try to jump you and attack you.
Why not? Why not, man?
Hey, listen, this guy rolled his random encounter stat block and came up with these random encounters. Just let them be what they are. The AI is listening to us.
And then day 6 is finally when you have a relevant encounter to the adventure, where you meet a Cyclops Oracle and his Cyclops buddy, who are friends of the dragon. And because he's a seer and an oracle, he knows what you're about, and he tries to, talk to you about. They're not hostile, but they try to confront you with what you're doing. Like they know what you're doing, and they're trying to convince you, maybe things aren't as they seem.
It's a level 7 party, right?
This is a level 9. When you go into the dragon, it is a copper dragon. It's an adult copper dragon. He doesn't try to fight you. He kind of wants to know if you met his Cyclops buddies, and he is willing to trade you for the orb. He's like, yeah, he will do a trade for magic items, money, whatever. He's willing to part with the orb. Regardless of how you encounter or go through this, whether you decide to murder Hobo the dragon and take the orb, or you trade for it, when you exit the lair of the dragon with orb in tow, the guy that hired you 6 days ago, 135 miles away, is right outside the lair and immediately jumps you.
Oh, yeah.
Because, quote unquote, he wants to take the orb for himself. The orb that he hired you to go bring to him, which you presumably were going to do.
We're going to give to him anyway.
So he jumps you and tries to kill you. And if you were friendly to the dragon and traded for it, he just comes outside and helps you fight this guy.
See,
okay.
This guy didn't think that through. Let's go to the dragon's lair to kill the people who just got an orb for me. when the dragon's literally just
No,
right
man, he
there.
just figured that they'd murder hobo them because they look like murder hobos, and that's just how it was gonna go. That way, they come out all weak, and maybe one or two of them are dead already.
Yeah, it's just the
This seems like a
progression of this.
really well-written adventure. I don't know why you guys are talking about it.
Yeah, this is definitely an amazing adventure. That I'm surprised it hasn't got the Alamo in it or something of that nature.
Yeah, and that's
Maybe.
just yeah.
Or Cowboy
just
with some 6-shooters.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Some of it is okay. Like that is an adventure that I, as an experienced dungeon master, could easily craft into something that's pretty good. For a new game master, they should just avoid that one like the fucking plague.
Well, it just annoys me that it's poorly thought. Yeah, you could take the idea of you're hired to go get a thing and things aren't what they seem, but the guy hires you to bring you the thing, and then even if you are actually bringing it to him, he just jumps you for reason because he's evil.
Yeah.
Evil is as evil does.
Yeah, it would make more sense if they show back up at his place or even outside, and
Yeah, like
then they
that makes
find out
sense.
he's a vampire who actually wanted them to kill the dragon, and when they decided not to, then then he tries to kill them for failing at what he wanted them to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to make it work, but
So just as a weird experiment, I asked ChatGPT to give me 6 random encounters for a level 9 party while they're traveling.
Mm-hmm.
First one is the bridge that breathes. It is a bridge that subtly moves, but is actually the back of a stone roper disguised as the architecture. When it shifts, several piercers drop from above. Above what? I don't know.
out of the sky.
Doesn't matter.
There's a twist. It's actually ancient and lonely, and it's trying to feel who walks across it. If spoken to it, it will actually guide you through the Underdark in exchange for company. Encounter 2 is the Draconic Toll. A young green dragon demands road taxes from travelers. He's injured. He's not here by choice. A group of hobgoblin mercenaries are tracking it. So you can either fight it, broker peace, or extort the dragon, or heal him. For tougher play, make an adult green dragon. Whisper in the Woods. Rolling Plains at sunset. The strange wind carries disembodied whispers. A failing DC 16 wisdom save causes confusion and hallucination. This is a living spell of confusion that is attacking the players. It's being herded by a group of sorceress nomads. The process of lanterns is a fog-covered trail at night with a silent parade of spirits that walk the road, each carrying a lantern. If disturbed, they attack as specters and wights. For an added bonus, add 1 Wraith High Priest. Is that Wraith from before?
Yeah, see, he was a high priest. We do have a backstory
now.
Then it's the Webbed Ambush. Ettercaps and giant spiders attack you while you're in the woods. There's a Drider Exile hiding nearby that will help you if you want. And the last one is a caravan of Modrons and clockwork constructs.
That actually sounds fun. By the way, I want to say that it sounds like ChatGPT took its naming conventions from either like Harlan Ellison or H.P. Lovecraft. Yeah, the bridge that breathes, the woods that whisper.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe we should just give up and just go straight to AI, guys.
You realize that all those are based on, as Jay rightly pointed out, other authors and shit that's already been done, right? None of that's new.
No, it's all original thoughts by
all
the AI
brand new. Yep.
All brand
yes, right. Okay.
So, Kristian, you said there was one other one that you really liked that you wanted to talk about?
There was one I liked. It's called The Mystery of Myth Rodarnum. So this is about a mythal. Somebody is trying to go hire you to repower or turn on a mythal.
Okay.
You have to get into the area, and there's there's some whatever reason there are the encounter is called Face the Ghouls, but then the things that you fight are wargs. Real weird.
Okay. Ready?
Editing is a thing or not. But the reason I like this is it's called, okay, so this is a riddle that you have to solve. When you go to the circle and try to commune with the mythal, you get this riddle. The might of the mythal draws from magic items 4. The first from waters, the second can pour. The third carries others, the fourth someone wore. Offer these relics and let light shine on the ring, then hide from the glory, forth from the circle spring.
See, that's one that you could figure out without a roll.
And more importantly, it tells you to do that. It says it does not, you are supposed to offer magic items, but it's up to the DM to determine what meets the criteria of the riddle. And then it is up to the players. It says illuminate the circle, let light shine in the ring, hints that you got to expose it to light of some sort. And then afterwards.
So there, technically speaking, there is no wrong answer so long as your players are actually coming up with good answers.
Right.
There's a variety of different ways to solve it, and it's just going to be whatever sounds like the best one to the DM, and that's a good way of doing it because like you have to make these checks or else, or there's only one way to solve it in a very Gygaxian way. Like, hey, you didn't know that this was the only way to fucking destroy the Demi-Lich by picking up these gems and using a sling as a 13th level rogue?
Your 14th level doesn't work. You're too
it
high.
doesn't work anymore. Too high. You got to use rubies and diamonds. You fucking idiot. Why are you using emeralds?
Yeah, go get level drained.
Yeah.
That's why I like
that.
this. There's not a specific answer. It's up to the players and the DM to determine what it is, and it's really the DM should go, okay, well, does that feel like it makes sense? And the players are encouraged to think, okay, well, what does this mean? I'm not looking for I'm not trying to figure out what my DM had in his head.
Yeah.
So this one I really like because it's mostly a little puzzle. It encourages players to be creative. It encourages the DM to let the players be creative and think of what they want, and then so this is a good little puzzle encounter. It's not a full adventure because that's literally it, is you turn on a mythal and then it encourages the DM to figure out what the effects of this mythal are.
Oh, that could be fun. You could write a whole lot of stuff off of that.
Yeah. But this is a good example of encouraging you to be creative, solving puzzles the right way, which is there's not a prescribed answer. It's think about it logically, and if it seems like it feels good, then go with it.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the adventure book, the encounter book, it's hit and miss.
Mixed bag. It's a mixed bag, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting from it.
That is the phrase. Now the lore section, the world section, apart from I wish they had, chosen some ground that had been a little less trodden in Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale, but that stuff's all great.
Like, I as much as I would say, I wish they would, showcase or some other place that really hasn't been explored much in actual modules since the 90s. There wasn't much on any of those places in the 5e 2014, and I haven't really seen much in the way of lore for a lot of these places since 3rd edition. So I appreciate that they threw it in there.
Yeah. Well, I think this first book that they released for the Forgotten Realms probably should still focus primarily on the places that they've done the most.
And with how successful Baldur's Gate 3 was, you have to include it. You have to include that.
I guess so.
The first book. They need to do another book down the road that does not even touch those locations.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciated that they went back to the Dale Lands, which was always kind of a classic place.
I wanted to go back to the Moon Sea. That's where I started in Forgotten Realms.
I agree. But they hit the Dale Lands, which I love. They hit the Moonshae Isles, which hasn't seen as much love lately. So that was nice to see.
Yeah.
And then they did hit Kalimsham, which has always been kind of on the periphery of things going on in the Forgotten Realms. So it was kind of nice to see.
That's nice. Yeah. Cool.
Good stuff.
Well, we've been going for more than an hour and a half, boys.
Yeah.
There's one final part of the book that we need to cover first. It's the psionics chapter.
Oh, well, hold on. Hang on. We're not to that point yet. We will get to psionics, but before we do that, we do need to very, very briefly talk about the fact that WotC, Wizards of the Coast, has re-registered Dark Sun's patent.
Trademarks and
Which to me is very disappointing because I didn't know that it had lapsed. So we could have bought it, boys. We could have owned Dark Sun.
we could have.
We were this close.
In here, I had Brahman speed dial to start doing more art for us. Fuck.
We were so close. All right. All right, Chris, you want to talk about psionics since it's in the new book or whatever?
I don't know if I want to now.
Oh, all right. We'll talk about it next week. How about that?
I mean, I have a huge opinion on psionics, especially when it pertains to Forgotten Realms. So let's just go ahead and start.